And Nick Rushworth here for those international papers. Look for what the world press is saying. You're starting today in Egypt, aren't you?
Hi to you, Stuart, and hi to everybody. Security fears are mounting, aren't they, in Egypt? And I turn to the newspaper The Independent in the United Kingdom. It has got a piece by Robert Fisk, who's a well-known commentator on Middle East affairs. There you can see it. And he is saying, with the death count rising, it looks to him like life in Egypt is cheap. He says the future for Egyptians only brings fear. This, of course, to do with the clashes between supporters and opponents of the deposed Islamist President Mohamed Morsi. Quotes in that piece include, violence has become normalised, killers are going free, no one is investigating shootings. The very end of that piece, Stuart, is a comparison with events in Algeria in 1992. The army in that country, in Algeria, cancelled elections Islamists were poised to win. That prompted a horrific civil war. Robert Fisk has made that comparison before.
And concern also being expressed about peace in the Middle East, isn't it?
Well, more broadly, Javier Solana, who is the former EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and a former Secretary General for NATO, he's writing in the Moscow Times that, yes, the Middle East is sinking deeper into instability. The majority of that piece, Stuart, is in fact about Egypt. And he says, coups always tend to exacerbate problems, and this is no exception this time around. The Islamists must have representation to ensure they do not renounce the ballot box. Now, Solana, in that piece, looking at how events in Egypt now are tying into areas of instability in the Middle East. But his conclusion at the end of that is not good at all. There is much serious hand-wringing going on, but little serious thought, he argues, about what to do.
OK, well, a lot of coverage coming up here on France 24, of course, over the weekend from Mali, obviously a significant country for France, and already you started to pick up some pieces in the newspapers.
Well, this is one in The Guardian in the UK. The headline, "The colonial powers are forcing..." The colonial powers are forcing Mali to the polls. Now, this story is in fact by Afua Hirsch there. She's the West Africa correspondent for The Guardian, and she says Malians are just not ready. The voter registration system is not up to par. They feel they are being governed by Paris. This whole thing is being thrust on them. And the end there, too, again, was very striking. She says the international community has to confront the reality that in forcing the people of Mali to go to the polls too early, it is simply repeating mistakes of the past.
OK, lighter topics now. An 8-pound baby boy has apparently been born. You may have noticed. Still getting a lot of attention.
Kate Middleton and Prince William. The boy, of course, is everywhere. Even I was looking at the coverage of the Pope in Brazil and went to the Brazilian papers, and there was just baby everywhere. So I had no choice but to go to the Daily Mail, where else. And there you can see that lovely, cute headline, "Baby's nice first royal wave." The Daily Mail also reporting inside the paper that a little quote, a joke, in fact, from William saying, "He's got more hair than me." So a forlorn dad there. Another quote is from Kate herself, saying, well, William's already done the first nappy. So unending stuff about that event in the UK. For more jokes, if you want to see them, you could actually go to the Huffington Post comedy page in the UK, and they've got 56 royal tweet gags. This is one I liked. Is pain relief being provided for the real birth? And if so, where can we get it? So that's an overload, isn't it, Stuart, for this whole event?
That's comedy tweets. You found some comedy cartoons as well?
Well, this I saw in the China Daily, and it's a picture that has been picked up so much in the traditional press and also online. There you can see what we already know. It's a boy. So the Chinese paper coming a little bit late to this story, perhaps. But what do we see in that picture? The Disney cartoon, The Lion King, and that sort of iconic image there of showing the baby. Another cartoon, the International Herald Tribune, which is the global edition of the New York Times, has this one. What about this, Stuart? It's not changing the guard, but changing the diapers. That's nappies to us Brits, of course, Stuart. So a lot of fun stuff in the papers about the royal baby.
It looks like they're storing the diapers in their busbies, in the hats. You could stack them all in, couldn't you? Excellent, Nick. Thanks very much. Nick with the international papers on France 24. Latest news, of course, after the break, weather forecast coming up for you, and then we'll have all the latest from Brazil, also from Egypt and Syria, right after the break. Stay with us if you can.